So here's the first pickup for March, and unfortunately I already opened it because I thought I was recording earlier, but apparently the record button didn't stick, so I'm just going to show it, and it's a SCSI to SD adapter. Basically, it'll take an SD card and run it through all of these different chips and everything, and route it out over the SCSI bus, and any device that supports a SCSI hard drive should work with this, including the Mac SE, SE30, and future Mac revisions, as well as other machines during the time that also supported SCSI. And I suppose theoretically, this would work on more modern hardware as well too. Any PCs that came out in the 90s, 2000s, and if you used a 50 pin to 68 pin adapter, you could probably adapt it to servers and things like that. But for this purpose, it's going to go into my Mac SE, and it's going to replace the physical drive that's in there. I am still working on that project, and I'm kind of rethinking how I want to do it, and I'll leave that as a surprise. But that's the first item. Moving on to the next. Okay, and I got a couple other items here. One's from Amazon and one's from eBay. Pretty sure I know what the eBay one is, and it's actually late. It was supposed to be here like a week and a half ago. It's fine, whatever. A lot of stuff's happening out there, so not too concerned. This here, I think, are just some tools that I bought, but they're kind of for the channel, so I'll show them off anyway. And we'll start off with what's in here first. So, what I have is a new digital multimeter. And this is, I mean, it's not going to be a super high-end one. It's definitely not going to be a Fluke or anything like that. But it got some decent reviews, and it's definitely better than the $10 Harbor Freight one that I got. Plus, I wanted to get this one here because it apparently can also do, besides just testing voltages and resistance, it can also test capacitance and temperature and things like that. So, definitely a step up from what I've got. Apparently this is magnetic, so it's got a stand and everything, so this should definitely come in handy. It'll definitely be a little bit better than what I currently have. That's for sure. And of course there's a bunch of test leads and things like that. Temperature probe. This must be the capacitor tester, maybe even resistor tester, transistor, who knows. I gotta go through everything and see. It's got some heft to it, unlike the other one. And then the other thing that I got is this Molex to Mini Molex adapter, and this is for the SCSI to SD adapter I got for the Mac SE. I've realized that the SCSI to SD only takes the Mini Molex, and there's only one Mini Molex in the Mac, and that's for the floppy drive, so I'm going to have to convert the full size to Mini. So there's that. Now let's move on to the eBay package. And so what this is, just some double density floppy disks, some new old stock from KO, not sure. This particular eBay seller had a few of them in stock, so I picked a set up since this should technically, off the camera, sorry. This should technically work in the Classic Macs, the Amiga 500, and PCs, although I won't be using this for PCs. Now, it says 1 megabyte capacity. I believe formatted, you'll get 720 with PC, 800 with Mac, and 760 with the Amiga. So, and I know I've got, on the Amiga, I've got a Gotek that I'm going to be working on soon. And for the Mac, I'm going to be using the SCSI to SD, but I still have to get the software onto it. Although I realize that I'm going to have a way to format these in the Mac if the floppy drives themselves don't work, so hopefully they do work. We'll figure it out. I think there may be some tools I can get for PC through emulation to get it working. If not, then I'll figure something out. But that's this. And the next couple of items I've got are just some local game pickups. Unfortunately, I don't have full cases for both. Well, one of them I've got a case for, but there's no label, and the other one doesn't have a case at all. But Metroid Return of Samus for the 3DS. No manual either, unfortunately, but it is what it is. GameStop had a sale over the weekend, and so I picked up a couple of 3DS games. So there's that. And then the other game I picked up was New Super Mario Bros. 2, again for the 3DS. Didn't have this one, haven't played it yet, so looking forward to it. As far as Samus Returns, I'm going to see if I can try to print up a label for it and go from there. And this, with New Super Mario Brothers 2, I don't have a case or anything. I'll see if I can find some online. Maybe some generic ones. I'll print a label up unless I can find an actual one for it. So we'll see. Well, on to the next item. For the next thing, I'm just going to flat out show it. As you can see, there's a giant box here. What is it? This is a SAN. Basically, it's a glorified NAS, which is a network storage device. In this case, it's Storage Area Network. It's a 9.6 terabyte one that I got from work after we decommissioned it. Hoping to use it for storage for this channel and other things. So, and along with that, I also got this. One of our decommissioned servers. And I'm going to set these up at some point and put them to work. Next item. And the next item here is just another Amazon pickup. And it's just something simple. What is it? Let's find out. Why, it's an SD extender. What is that? Well, you may remember that I picked up an SD to SCSI, or SCSI to SD adapter for my classic Macs. I realized that because it's going to be mounted internally, once the SD card's in there, if I want to replace it or swap it out or anything, I have to open up the entire case. You might say, well, if you're just installing it as a hard drive, how often do people replace hard drives? And you're correct. But because I have the ability to be able to swap it out, not on the fly, but with relative quickness, why not have different system images? So what I'm going to do is, this will be inside the SD adapter, SD to SCSI, and then this will be somewhere in the back. And I believe if I open this up, there's actually a bracket that has some mounting holes on it that I'll be able to maybe more appropriately mount. Now, I tried to find one like that, but it seems like all of the ones that I was able to find were micro SD to SD or SD to micro SD. And I wanted an SD to SD. So even if I can't, you know, I can find ways to mount this. So, but again, it'll give me the ability to pop in a different SD card, boot up maybe a different version of system. Maybe I want to boot up version 6.0.8, or maybe I want to boot 7.1. Whatever. I'll have that ability here. So that's what this is going to be used for, and hopefully you'll see that once I'm ready to do my classic Mac videos. So that's pretty much all I got for March. It wasn't a whole lot, I know, with the worldwide epidemic going on. Amazon and other retailers and shipping companies have been kind of diverting their resources to focus more on medical and other emergency items. So I didn't get a whole lot. A lot of my items were delayed into April, including a desoldering gun. Finally, I'm getting one of those, which should help me with some of my soldering projects. So that's it. If you liked today's video, hit the thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. If you didn't like today's video, go ahead and hit the thumbs down. But please leave a comment below as to why, so I can try to use that to make improvements in the future. Thanks all. I'll catch you later.